How's it going, guys? Welcome to another live stream. Gonna kind of wait for some people to get in here. Figured I'd do a live stream tonight, um, just to answer some questions. I made some videos about buying semi trucks and tips and tricks and how to prevent it from getting a lemon. So that's what I wanted to make the majority of this live stream about was questions about buying semi trucks, how to protect yourself, how to not get a lemon, how to just get an all around good deal. So I had some questions, and there's some topics I wasn't able to fully dive into on a video, as I try to keep the videos short and don't want to ramble on too much. So I figured I'd get on here and see if anybody had some questions for me regarding, being an owner operator, the trucking industry, and tips and tricks when it comes to buying a truck and things that you can do to help prevent yourself from getting a bad truck or bad motor, and how to help get yourself a good deal. I didn't go through a lot of the general stuff like looking for good prices and all of that. Kind of figured that was pretty apparent, to do, price comparisons. And also, I didn't do anything talking about titles, but I figured that was pretty apparent, so I went over things that I figured people wouldn't really think about too much and didn't really know, as far as, getting oil samples. And Michael White, how's it going? Is it normal to have some metal showing in your diff oil? It's normal to see some oil or some metal, because you've got two pieces of metal constantly, rubbing and grinding on each other nonstop. So it's normal to see a little bit. And when I say a little bit, I mean a tiny little bit. But if you're pulling out like chunks or a massive amount, then there's probably an issue there. But then again, is it making any noise? Is it still operating as usual? Then, when you're an owner operator and you're running a truck and you see that there's a potential problem, sometimes, it may be a better call just to keep going until it presents a bigger, larger problem. So this damn shop is telling me that I may have to replace both diff. Okay, so yeah, so I'd be suspect. The first thing I would want to see is tell them to show you the metal. Say, I want to see the sample of the metal, and then then ask him, say, is this a large amount of metal or is this not a large amount of metal? Face to face, ask them just straight up, say, hey, once you see the metal or the metal shavings, metal flakes, metal pieces, you also need to see, I guess they said metal shavings. Shavings aren't, if they're very, very tiny, they're not a big deal. But, the problem with shops and dealerships, and, I've made videos in the past about, going to independent shops versus dealerships, but independent shops can also be just as bad. They're always looking for that upsale. They're always looking to get more money. And what's sad is you might have an employee at that shop that is not even representative of the owner's values, and he just thinks he's doing the right thing by trying to get an upsell and trying to, get himself more work. And, it may not even, it's kind of hard to tell. So I know I'm kind of going on a rant here, but if it's a shop, then is it a big dealership? They're telling me that they would have to drain both of them to see how much metal is in here. All right, tell them, go ahead, drain them. I want to see. Show me this metal. metal mystical creature that you talk about. Yeah, I'm very suspect and skeptical, especially if it's a big shop or if it's a big dealership, because you know, they sometimes they can see a dollar sign, and it's hard to say, man. I would just try to have them show you the metal, and then I would say, hey, can I talk to a very experienced mechanic here that may be able to give me some insight? Because if it's some like new guy and he's like, oh, I see metal, and when I did my ASC certification, they said that's very, very bad. So he may be like kind of freaking himself out and freaking you out when maybe it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, I would tell them to drain it and let you see, tell them to show me, show me the magical metal, because there's going to be a little bit, especially if you've got a lot of miles on it. But yeah, I'd say a little bit's okay, especially if the diff is running fine and the lockers work and there's no whining or growling or howling coming from the diff. Yeah, I'm automatically very suspect, especially when it's a dealership, man, because all I know is like they're looking for anything to try to get that next amount of money or upsell. Thanks, man. I kind of figured it was BS. Just wanted a second opinion. Yeah, I mean, just follow up with them, and you'll see how much BS it truly is. Say, okay, let's drain it, and I want to see the metal you talk about. And then if they start acting fishy or weird or a little bit sketchy, say, look, guys, I've been screwed over by dealerships before just trying to sell me shit. So, definitely, if they take offense to it, say, I don't want to be offensive, but, I just want to make sure that we make sure that there's an actual problem here and it's not a mistake. And if they start getting stupid, just say, screw you guys, and say, I want my truck back. Don't touch it. Because I've had to do that. I took my truck into a dealership. I don't remember what I had a wheel seal go out. So the dealership, there's a few dealerships in my area, but I literally drive right past a couple big dealerships. And so I took it in. I said, hey, can you guys do this wheel seal? They're like, yeah, no problem. We'll do the wheel seal. So then, I don't know if it was my day off or if I was trying to do it, a day that I was working. So I was trying to hopefully get it back soon. But yeah, so I brought it in there, and then they tell me that there's a problem with my axle and the bearings in the axle and all this and all that. And I'm like, there was no unusual sounds coming from that axle. And I could not see any adverse wear. And the guy pulls out the axle from the axle tube on one of my drives, and they took a picture of it, and it didn't look brand new, but it didn't look damaged. And it's like, yes, that's a used part. Do you idiots understand that you pull a used part out of anything, it's not going to look brand new? That's why it's not brand new, and they're like expecting it to look brand new. So just a little funny. And then while they're at it, they said, oh, your brakes are 50%. I was like, okay. That means there's 50% more life left in them. That means they're halfway through their life, and they can go another few miles. Well, I don't know. You should probably replace them. It's a huge safety hazard. And they were just trying to fearmonger me, and I just wasn't having it. And they started getting pissed off at me. And they're like, so you're telling me you don't want them to replace the bearings and the axle and all this other stuff? And I'm like, no. I was like, I brought my truck in for a wheel seal. Replace the seal, put the thing back together, and leave it alone. And they were so distraught. And guess what? I drove that truck. That's my 2008. That just it's a spare right now, so it's sitting. But I drove that truck for another 200,000 miles. never had an issue again. So, that's kind of just, it's crazy. They're just trying to get money. Michael, I may have to go and get it. Just purchased a truck and wanted them to go through it. And this is the beginning of the third week. They haven't touched it. Yeah, man. You could also throw it out. You can throw it back at them. You turn it around if you really want to kind of be a jerk. You'd say, "That's funny. I just bought it from you. Why are all these problems coming up now? I thought, this would have been taken care of when you guys took it into your shop." So, yeah, that's you just bought it. So now they're just trying to get you, man. They're just trying to get you for everything they can right now. They think because you're buying a truck that, say you spent 60 grand, they're like, the guy spent 60, maybe he can spend 70. What's an extra $10,000, I mean, he already bought a truck. So sometimes dealers and sales people think that, oh, he bought a $50,000 truck. What's another $5,000 worth of work? He can afford it. So yeah, that's very suspect. If you just bought the truck and they're already trying to upsell you a bunch of crap and says the truck's a problem, I would say, hey, I would almost try to turn on them. I guess I need to ask. You said they're going through the truck. Is this the place you bought the truck from? I guess I should ask that first. And yeah, also, you're going to have that problem a lot where, private owner. Okay. Well, that doesn't make it any better because the shop sees you coming a mile away and they see you on one hand and they see that you purchased the truck from person A and you're person B. So now they're like, well, he's got money to buy a truck. He must have money to fix it. Yeah, that's hard, man. I just make them prove it to you. Have them show you the proof, and go from there. Don't ever take any type of dealership's word for it. There's very few mechanics out there that I take their word for it, even though I've been working with them for years. Or they'll say, "Hey, did you know something was damaged on this side of your truck?" I always make them show me. Whether they take offense to that or whatnot, that they don't trust them or something. I just always make them show me. So do that. But yeah, man, you're a prime customer though. They see you coming a mile away. A guy that I don't know how you present yourself, but maybe they think, oh, this guy's got a lot of money. He carries himself well. I just bought this truck and he's taking it to us to make sure that we go through it and tell him what's wrong with it. Ooh, buddy, I can tell you a bunch of things that are wrong with this. They just see that dollar signs. And to their defense, if they're just, employees, that's what they've been trained or taught to do, They almost act like we're just these rolling piggy banks out there and, just got to tell us that to throw some money at them, and they think that that's just that easy. He's kind of aware that I'm green. That's my fault. Yeah. Yeah. Especially if you're not mechanically inclined or they know that you're not mechanically inclined, they'll try to fear monger you and try to take advantage of you because, just like, they would do like a lady or a woman, same thing, they think you don't know nothing. So not saying that's the case, but that would be, that's something that would happen as well. But yeah, I would just put your foot down and just make sure they know that you're not taking their crap, that you're not here just to, it's not an open checkbook. Say, I don't know who the hell you guys think you are, but this is not an open checkbook. And, I work hard for my money. I started this business and I bought a truck and now I'm aware of every dollar that goes out that door, and that might change their tune a little bit if you accidentally might have presented yourself as if you had a lot of money or not. Welcome everybody to the live stream. I got a few people that have come in. Feel free to comment, ask me any questions. We're just talking about a fun shop that is trying to get more money out of a truck owner, because that's what they do. They try to make you a fool. Yeah, Michael, exactly. That's right. Rep, about to start at Prime Inc. in 2 weeks to get my CDL. Any advice? Have an open mind. Let's see. You said in 2 weeks to get my CDL. Okay. So this is what I tell a lot of new guys out there is that keep your. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get that CDL and get that experience. So that's fantastic. Let them hire you on if they're going to hire you on and pay for your CDL, and use them to get your experience. But understand that a lot of these big carriers like Prime and all the other ones out there, we all know who they are. They may not be the best companies to work for, but don't let that deter you out of the industry. Just have a wider vision to know that there are better opportunities out there, and you might have to, just toughen it up and, take the crap for a couple of maybe a year or two to get your experience to move on to bigger and better things. Or, I don't know, you might like it. It might be really good money. You might find yourself in a niche there that's pretty good. So I guess my advice would be, it's going to be tough. Keep your, keep your, mind open that there are other better opportunities out there. Don't get sucked into a tunnel vision that like you can only work there and that's the only place you can go. I know that happens with a lot of new drivers when they start with a company. They pretty much just let the company take advantage of them because they feel like, well, this is trucking, so it can't be any better than this. So that's what I would do. Keep it open, and then just understand that you might have to take the crap for 6 months to a year to get your experience, and you can move on. Don't jump ship from them right away either, because you don't want to have a whole lot of job hopping on your resume. Try to stick it out with them to get about a year of experience. Learn all you can from them. Learn your mistakes with them. Let them teach you, and just make the best of it. But just don't get stuck in that tunnel vision that like there's nowhere else. Don't get in that trap mindset. Just understand that there's a lot of opportunities out there in the trucking industry. So if that one sucks, there's other options, and it might just take you toughing it out for another 5, 6, 7 months or whatever it may be to get into better places. Hopefully that helps, or at least that's how I looked at it. I started delivering beer. I hated it. It sucked. And they fear-mongered guys with a contract. They said, hey, you have to pay us $1,500 if you quit within a year. Well, this is crap. That was like, I was making like $30,000 a year, humping cases of beer and kegs, busting my butt. And a lot of people stayed because, well, A, they wanted free beer, which it's like, I'll go play full price if I make more money. And then B, they kind of fear-mongering, like, well, where else are you going to go? This is we distribute alcohol. That's never going away. So they basically kept a lot of guys trapped, and they were just miserable, making no money. And me, I left, and guys like, what are you doing? And after 3 months, I left and went into the oil field and started making 70 grand a year. Like right off the bat, like right away, I went from like making 30 grand a year to making $20 an hour with overtime. So I was making, I was getting 20 hours a week of overtime. I was working my butt off, but I went from, I almost doubled, nearly tripled my income in a month or two. And guys like, what, you're quitting? I was like, yeah, dude, screw their stupid, their $1,500. I'll pay them for that. I'm not too worried about it. So Yeah, whether bands. What's the best load board app for box truck? Um, I really don't know. I would be telling you something that I had no clue. There's a couple of apps out there. I'll just show you one that Trucker Path, I think, is one of them. They cost money, and I actually subscribed just to see what was out there because I was maybe going to start booking my own loads and getting opening my authority back up. But I think it's Trucker Path, if I remember correctly. It's the same one that'll show you if the scales are open or closed. I think, yeah, it's Trucker Path. They have a load board. And the only reason I know about this and why I would even suggest this is when I downloaded their app and went into it, it had, reefer, flatbed, tanker, and I think there was a box truck option on there. So if anything, it'll help you to weed out the other loads. Let's see here. I'm an owner operator. I'm here in Houston with all this snow and cold weather. What should I expect when I get back to my truck when this pass? It never been this cold here. Your truck will not start. Maybe you might have to get it jumped. Yeah. It's let's see where I'm at. That's funny. You guys in Houston, I wonder how cold, how cold is it there? Let's see. It was negative 17 last night, and tonight where I'm at, it's trying to pull up the weather app here. It is. Let's see. It's 0 degrees tonight, and the day. So it was negative 17 last night, and the night before that it was negative like 7 to 10, and now it's 0. So what you can expect if it's that cold, your cold cranking amps and your batteries are going to be affected. So if you left the truck and then you come back and it's been sitting for a couple days in the cold, it probably won't want to start. So you're probably just going to have dead batteries. So, oh, yeah. Yeah. So, how long is the truck going to be sitting? I guess that's my question to you. And I'll move on to the next question. So if it sits for a couple of days, even when my trucks sit for a couple of days, 3 or 4 days, they don't want to start, especially when it's cold like this. Like, I've been working for the last couple of days just because of the cold and just freezing up and having problems. But I'm still going out to my yard and starting my truck every day or every other day and letting it run for like 30 minutes or an hour. Like I'll go to my yard and start my truck and I'll go run some errands. And then on my way back, I'll come and shut it off just to keep everything kind of warmed up. I do have a plug-in, but my power cord to my heater block is broken. So a lot of people are probably like, why don't you plug it in? Well, it's frying that wire when I plugged in. So there's a bad ground somewhere. So I got to replace that. And the dealer was supposed to get it in a couple of days ago, but I don't know if they've got it in yet. Yeah, but just be prepared to have to jump the truck to put some jump cables on the batteries. And it may take 30 minutes to an hour of having these cables on there to fire it up. So my truck, I went out there and it didn't want to start. So I put cables on it and it went, rant for like probably a good 30 seconds. And then it killed the batteries back down. So I had to charge the batteries back up, and that took about another 15 minutes. So I had to do that probably 3 or 4 times before it finally kicked over. So, because as you crank it, it's going to kill that battery back down if it doesn't get it started. Okay. Slobodon. Sorry if I butchered your name there. Do I have to have established business credit for my LLC before I apply to finance for a semi truck with banks? Or is it enough to have excellent personal credit score? Yeah, you can have just a good credit score, personal credit score. That's what they go off of is your personal credit score. You don't have to have established business credit because that's really hard to establish. And what I learned is that it doesn't matter how much business credit you actually have, unless you're in a very large, like multi-million dollar corporation, they always use your credit. So my other trucking business was, we got up to about 4 or 5 trucks. I had a leaser or two running for me, and we were doing, a little bit over 500,000 a year. We were doing close to 1 million in revenue a year, and I still could not finance anything under the business because they said that you still have to personally guarantee it with your personal credit. So it didn't even matter that I had all this stuff financed. You have to become a very large business that has a very large net worth value to actually finance stuff through a business credit. So yeah, long story short, you can use that is what they're going to use, your personal credit score. So there's no problems there. You don't even have to have an LLC. All you're going to have to take the truck off the lot is insurance. They're going to make you go and purchase some insurance. That's about it. I last run Saturday. Don't look like I will get back till Thursday. Last ran Saturday. Doesn't look like I'll get back till Thursday. Yeah. So your truck's going to be dead. If it starts, it may start. And, 5 degrees isn't that cold for a truck. I mean, when it starts getting into negatives, that's when it really starts affecting the cold cranking amps. But yeah, man, you're gonna hopefully you have a pickup truck or you have a vehicle that's got a good, like, strong battery in it. I mean, you could use a car, but that's kind of risky because you're asking for a lot of amps to go into that other battery to connect to, or it may be fine. Maybe I should wait there for a while, but yeah, you're gonna need someone to help you jump that thing because it's probably gonna be dead. Here's the deal. My '06 Coronado was sitting for past 7 days, well below zero temperature. I took her out today and I noticed oil leaking from filter that connects to power divider. What would be the cause? So you took, let's see here. I'm trying to think. Oil's leaking from the filter that connects the to power divider. Did you try tightening the filter? Um, so if you got some water in there and then it froze, it might have expanded and actually cracked the filter or the filter housing. That's a very rare scenario, though. I would, because sometimes you can get water in your diffs from going through, you have a breather tube, but sometimes if those fall off when you go through, if you go through large water puddles or mud puddles, with us, a lot of water, mud, and stuff can get that high, and that could get in there, or just moisture. Just moisture from the cold can start to accumulate, and then when it freezes, it'll expand. It's hard to say. There's a bunch of weird stuff that can happen, but if your breather for your rear end fell off and you went through some large water puddles, it could have got water in there, and then the water could have got into the filter, and then or the filter housing. Yeah, so I just read what you just put. Yeah, so I would replace the filter because it sounds like you might have just got some excess water in there somehow, and then go from there. And then if it still does it, check the filter housing, the actual, flat, piece that the filter will screw onto. that housing should be removable, and sometimes those housings can crack as well. So after you replace the filter, if it's still doing it, then I would look at the housing. And then if it's still doing it, then you need to tear into that, either your rear end or your divider, whichever's closer, to see what's going on, if you got some water getting in there somehow. But yeah, you're right. It's been frozen up there for a few months, so it shouldn't be like liquid water, but you never know. What's the weather up there now? Just Toronto. So we're having some pretty bad freeze down here. So I wonder what the weather's up there, what it's like up there in Toronto. Like I was saying at the beginning of this, it's been a negative 15 the last couple nights, -7 to -20, and tonight it's actually 0, so a little bit better. Oh, -20, okay. So, but I'm sure that's a common occurrence up there. I got buddies of mine in North Dakota right now, and that's what they're saying. Yep, yep. Man, it's cold up there. I'd rather deal with the cold than the heat, but man, -20, that's a little too cold. Slow but on. I'm in business around 3 years, 78 credit score, gross income for last year around 500K. What kind limits I can expect from bank? I would like to buy 2-3 brand new semi trucks. Man. Yeah, so you're getting to the spot that I was in when I was running my other business. Have you financed any other? Have you financed anything else recently, or do you have any other trucks that you financed? Because they're going to look at your history. A huge thing is going to be your history. So let me know if have you financed any other trucks in the last few years? Mm. No. Okay. That's going to be negative against you, just because they're going to want to see, like, if I'm a bank and I'm going to finance you a truck, a semi truck, the first thing I'm going to want to see is that you financed one before and you either paid it off or you're doing good on your payments, because that establishes your risk to the financial institution or to the bank. So that's going to be a knock. It's not going to be impossible, but that's going to be hard to do 3 brand new semi trucks. I mean, that's a huge risk. Like, you're asking the bank to take a huge risk. And I know exactly what they're going to tell you. They're going to say, start out with 1. They're going to say, we're going to give you 1. And we're going to see how you do. Get through 6 months with 1, maybe a year, and then come back and talk to us. And they're going to tell you, okay, let's do a second one. And they're going to do baby steps like that, because they are going to mitigate their risk as a lender. And you understand, it's just business and finance, you know. Do you have any trucks for collateral? Like, how many trucks do you currently have that you can maybe put up for collateral? I bought the Detroit Series 60 because of your video. It was a great help. Awesome, man, Victor. Awesome. I'm happy I could help. That's awesome. Hopefully it's been good to you. Hopefully you've seen some of the previous videos I did with how to do your due diligence on buying it. That's awesome, man. How many miles are on it? Hell yeah, Michael. Detroit 60s all day. I agree, man. That's why I won't sell mine unless someone offered me a very good deal. I've been messing around with my DD15, which has been okay. It's just a newer truck, so I'm just driving it, but I'm not going to be shocked if I got to, go fire up the good old 60 series to save the day. John, I've had my license for 3 years. I live in Boston. I want to buy my truck. I want to buy a truck. I don't know where to start. So, first, you need to determine what kind of trucking you want to do. Do you have, first, you need to find out where you can get work as an owner operator. You don't have to do this, but that's a good starting point. Find out who hires owner operators and find out if you have the experience that they would require to get in the door with them. So, for instance, if you've been hauling a reefer for the last 3 years, and then you talk to a flatbed company and you're gung ho about it, they may tell you, "Hey, you need to get flatbed experience before we hire you on as an owner operator." Oh, and also, you want to decide if you're going to want to get your own DOT authority or if you're going to want to lease on to somebody. Starting out, I would suggest leasing on to somebody just to learn the ropes. It's a little bit better. Yeah. Okay. You haul for Starbucks. Wow. I actually guessed that. Is it a reefer? Yeah, you haul reefer if you haul for Starbucks. Maybe. I don't know. But anyways, yeah. So determine in your area, and also decide, are you gonna want to work locally in your area, or are you gonna want to go over the road? Uh, the first thing I did, some guys will go and buy a truck. Um, a lot of guys will just go buy a truck and go try to find work. But I honestly suggest, going the opposite direction, actually trying to find the work first, and just finding, just quickly calling up a company saying, "Hey, do you guys hire owner operators?" They say, "Yes, we do." Say, "Are you looking for any owner operators currently?" They say yes. Then you say, "Okay, sounds good. Let me call back in about a week or two." And just kind of feel them out. And don't really let on that I don't have a truck yet, I'm going to get a truck. Just tell them, "Okay, thanks. I was just calling to see if you guys are currently hiring. I'm currently looking." Keep it very short and brief, because you don't want a company to think that you're kind of blowing smoke. Because a lot of guys will call and be like, "Hey, we hire as owner operator," and then they're like, "Yeah, we actually need an owner operator now." And they're like, well, I don't have my truck yet, but I'm going to get a truck. And then the company's like, "Okay, this guy is just waste my time." So just keep it very short. Just say, "Hey, do you guys hire owner operators?" They say yes. Say, "Are you guys busy? Are you looking?" Then they'll say, "Yeah, we're really busy. We're actually looking." Say, "Okay, thank you." You might ask them what they require for experience. And if they say you have a truck, say yes, or say that you're in the process right now of acquiring a truck. But yeah, just keep it short. You don't want to show all your cards, because then they'll start thinking, "This guy is just wasting my time. He doesn't have a truck and he wants to be an owner operator." Because people don't. Yeah. You just purchased it. It has 1.2 million already build. I will be leasing on to a company soon, hauling sandbox in South Texas to start. Awesome, man. Let me know how that goes. There's a lot of that around here too, but it's real up and down. And hopefully, you can. Hopefully, they're not to scare you, Victor, but hopefully, you actually get in there and start working. Last year, I just had this hair up my. I wanted to go down to Texas because it was nice weather. We're coming into winter here. And I talked to like 2 or 3 different sand hauling companies, and 2 of them were like, "Yep, we're good to go. Got my information. Is going to go lease on to them." And one of them just never heard back from. They just went silent. I couldn't get a hold of them. I don't know if they went out of business or whatnot. And the second company I called, I was getting ready to leave. Like literally, it was about like the next day or two. And thankfully, they told me, 'cause I would have been pissed if I got down there. But they're like, "Hey, put the brakes on this. Like, don't come down yet. We need to wait till next month to see if things pick up. Things kind of slow down for us right away." I was like, "Okay, cool." So at least they gave me the common courtesy call instead of wait till I got down there and tell me that. So I'd be interested to check in with you in a couple months and see how that's going. I know the work is there. It's just some of these companies are just hard to connect the dots. Um, John, I appreciate your words. Thank you. No problem, man. I'm happy to help. But yeah, just do some homework. Just start doing some research. Hell, when I see trucks drive by that look interesting, I'll look at the company name and start Googling it, find them and call them and say, hey, what are you guys all about? That's what I did. Or that's what I did to get into the trucking industry. I started, calling all the companies I knew were in the oil field, and I had a list. I had a list of like 10 companies. And I basically just made my way down the list, called them, hey, would you hire a driver? I've got like 4 months of experience. And someone said no, and someone said yes. And then finally, after a couple days, I kind of had a couple answers. I had 2 or 3 different job options, ranging from like $16 to $20 an hour. So I took the one that was $20 an hour. And also, not only that, but the company said, hey, we actually have hired people from the company that you work for, and it's actually worked out really well. So it made me feel a little more comfortable, and I went to go work for them, and it worked out great. And then here I am now. So yeah, do the same. You can do the same thing with owner operators. That's currently what I'm doing right now. So I've got one company that I'm contracted through right now that we're going to start moving forward. But I'm also looking, because this stuff, what I was doing, is kind of going away, and I'm kind of waiting for other companies to give me a call and say, hey, work's come back. So I have definitely called 2 or 3 different companies and vetted them. I interview them. Hey, how's it going? What are your guys making every week? Are you working? Does this work go away? Do you guys have, are you guys in risk of losing this work? And sometimes I don't like to start asking questions like that, but that's what I always do. Okay, carrier, or I'm driving now, bought a brand new truck for me 1 year ago. I guess I'm gonna finance that truck first on my name, around 100K balance left, and after 6 to 12 months, look for one more truck. So let me see here. I gotta look at what we were talking about. Okay, so basically, right. So you're wanting to finance 2 or 3 trucks. Yeah, if you're going to finance that truck through them, that's good. You just need that history. You need to build up a little bit of history. Unless you're just an outstanding asset, or somebody within some finance firm, or no, I wouldn't say never, but it's gonna be very hard for somebody just to give you 3 trucks and finance you. Let's say you pay 150. That's $450,000, and you haven't even financed a truck before. That's very, very risky. That's very hard to do. And in other businesses with finance, they want you to put usually 10% to 25% in to do that. So, if you're looking to finance, like a real estate property, investment property, or buy a business, usually a bank, if you have a good enough business plan, they'll make you put up about 10% to 25%. So if you're looking to finance $1 million business, they'll want you to have $100,000 up front, because they want some skin in the game. So now, if you told me you had $50,000 in the bank, that may change things a little bit. Because if you got like 50,000, in the bank, or that you could use to finance, you might be able to, maybe finance the truck you're talking about, and then turn around and finance another one. If you've got, say, I don't know how much you're probably, I'm assuming if it's a carrier you work for, it's probably a 0 down deal. And if that is the case, then you probably go into a bank. If you got 25 to 50,000, a bank, finance, credit union, whatever, and say, hey, I've got this much money to put down. I want to buy a new truck. And they might do it. And if you could prove your income too, so they want to see that you can afford it too. So, if you only showed you made $60,000, and then with all you, but then once you add back depreciation, if it shows, 100 or 150 or whatever it may be, they want to make sure you actually make enough money to afford it. Just like you would, get approved for a house, which I just purchased a new house. I've been here for, a month and a half, and I learned, kind of how they did it. And I wasn't too shocked because with commercial financing, they do the same thing. It's the same exact process as buying a house. They verify your income, make sure you can afford it, make sure you know what the hell you're doing, make sure you've actually been in business for more than one year or so. So yeah, sorry I was kind of long-winded, but that's kind of how that is. Michael, that's what I do. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's hot right now, man. Reefer is really hot right now. I like tankers. That's kind of my thing. So I kind of want to keep with that. John, any recommendations on what truck should I buy? Well, I can tell you, Victor's in the chat here, if he's still here. I'm a big fan of Detroit's, specifically the Detroit 60 series. Check out some of my videos where I argue that they're the best all-around semi engine ever because they're cheap, they're reliable, and they last forever. And any mechanic can work on them, pretty much. Most mechanics know them, and even if they're a Caterpillar or Cummins mechanics, they know them and they respect them. Let's see here. It all depends on your preference, what you want, what you're going to do too. If you're going to be over the road, you're going to want to buy more of an aerodynamic truck. If you're going to be local or a heavy haul, you're going to want to buy maybe a heavier spec truck. You may not want some long nose, wind sail if you're going to be, driving, I don't know, 3,000 to 4,000 miles a week. So it all depends, a lot of it's just personal preference. If you really want a Kenworth with a Cummins, then I would tell you, well, go and look up Kenworths with the Cummins in them, and then just try to find the best deal you can get and do your due diligence and watch some of my other videos where I go over, tips and tricks on how to buy a semi truck, and also how not to buy a lemon, or to help you not buy a lemon. So that's very helpful as well. So yeah, just check out some of my videos. And you can really learn a lot. There's just way too much to go over here. Maybe if we were one-on-one, I can kind of go into more things. Victor, I run Sandbox Pneumatics as company driver, and we run side by side with a lot of O's. That's good. That's good. So the company you're going to be working for. That's very good too. That's why I tell a lot of guys too, try to find guys that are owner operators in your industry that you can just transfer right over to. Oh, okay, Michael. I meant calling companies that I see on the road. Okay, yeah. I do it all the time, especially when there's like really nice trucks. I know that they're probably making really good money and they're in my area. I'll call them like, hey, what's the deal? Victor, I would like to lease on with a company that does full OOs without the company drivers. These companies tend to get more loads. Yeah, man, that's problem. That's what I fight as well, and had been fighting for the last couple of years, is company drivers. If you work for a company that has company drivers, they'll feed them first and feed you last. I believe in the owner operator model where, a company has that's the model I tend to think that's the best business model is to have, 20 or 30 owner operators, and then maybe you just own the trailers, but then you have to go and get the work. And then you don't have to worry about fixing trucks unless you just want to have a mechanic shop on the side and charge owner operators to work on their stuff and have a good mechanic. That's fine, but you don't have to have any of your own trucks that you work on. That would be something that I would, we all fight that, man. I fought it with the last couple of companies I worked for as well. My dog is over here. She's grunting. And thank you for your explanation. I appreciate. Yeah, you bet, man. No problem. Feel free to ask me other questions you have. I'll be here for a little while, a few more minutes. John, is there a way I can contact you? Email, IG. I'm really serious about getting my truck this year. Yeah, direct message me on Instagram. Make money, make money trucking on Instagram. And what I'll do is I'll keep an eye out on it and get back with you and direct message you on Instagram or accept your message, and then we can go further with that. Ronnie, can I go straight into car hauling? Because I hear that's where the money's at. It's all going to be dependent on the company and if they're willing to train new guys in that industry. Some companies are so desperate that they will train you. And I'm not gonna say like desperate, but some companies will train you, and some guys are gonna want experience. And I'm assuming you have driving experience. John, yeah, I watched your videos. I am a big fan. Trust me, thanks, man. I appreciate it. That means a lot. I really appreciate it. That's why I make them, for guys like you to actually, be able to use the information and really take advantage of it. John, I just graduated from Universal Tech. Awesome. So okay, see, I was going to ask you, you did diesel mechanic at UTI. That's funny. Back in 2010, I was this close to going there, and I pretty much had it all set up too. I had signed a recruiter. I think I was going to go to their, man, I can't remember what campus it was, but it was Arizona. Is there a campus in Arizona? I think I think it was Arizona. And I almost went there because, I was a mechanic out of high school, and in high school, I worked for a couple shops, and that's what I used to do before I got into trucking. And that's good, man. If you're mechanically inclined, that'll help you a lot owning a truck. Obviously, I've got videos on should you be mechanically inclined to become an owner operator, and I'll save you the details. But in short, I think it is very, very helpful. Slobodan, John, I like Freightliner Columbia, 12.7, 13 speed, good MPG. Yeah, man, that's a good one. Can't go wrong with the 12.7. I like 14 liters. That's my favorite. 14 liters of EGRs are okay because it's really easy to deal with that situation. That's all I'm going to say. Frank, hi. Can I ask an off-topic question? Sure, Frank, go for it. I can't promise I'll answer depending on what it is, but Ronnie, thanks a lot, buddy. Hey, man, no problem. Michael, can local tankers make good money? I want to be home every day. Yes, they can. That's what I do. Well, it's getting harder to be local is a problem, and it's getting harder to fight the company drivers. Like I was talking with, let's see here. Who was I discussing that with? Victor. Yeah, so you can make very good. Yeah, you can make very good money as local tanker. So I'm hazmat, so that's a very specialized area. It's kind of getting hard to get into just because everybody wants you to have a lot of experience, which I'm very fortunate that I do have like 10 years of experience, and that's what I've done all along. But yeah, there's good money in it. It's just finding it right now. And the local stuff just isn't local to me. Unfortunately, not a lot of it. And like I said, we're fighting these company drivers. These companies are coming in, stealing all the work and for pennies on the dollar. And we don't even know how they're doing it because they're still having to pay their company drivers. But they must just be doing it at a loss or at like a very small margin. And then all the companies that have owner operators, they're not really allowed. We're just losing the work to these bigger companies with only company drivers. Let's see here. John, thank you. Yeah, awesome. My 14 liter has been dealt with. Touche. I know very well about that, Michael. If you get my drift here, I have also dealt with mine very well, and it's the best truck ever after that's done. So that's why I love the 14 liters. I feel like they have a lot more power. You can turn them up to 550 or 600 horsepower with little to no issues. Yeah, once you get it dealt with. I'm having you get my drift there. Frank Wonder. How can I best suggest that my girlfriend stop wearing men's underwear? I don't know, man. That's a hard one. I guess if she likes them, she likes them. You know, if she's good to you and she does what you want, I guess that is what it is. That's funny though. I was expecting something a lot different. Maybe tell her, hey, do you know they have this stuff that's made for ladies? But I'm sure that's just a fake question or just a joke. All right. Victor Alvarez. Hey, so my 14 liter has EGR. Did you have issues while you had yours on? No, because I am going to look this up for you. There is something you can buy that will help your EGR. Let me look it up really fast. EGR. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to look up the ugly fix. I believe. Oh no. Hold on a second. They're all saying out of stock. So let me look here. Hopefully, am I still on, guys? All right. So, Victor, I'm looking this up for you. You're gonna love this. There's something called the ugly fix, and but I'm having a problem finding it. Add to cart. Let's see here. What year is your truck? This is meant for 2003 to 2007. 14 and 12.7 liters. Hopefully. Oh my gosh. Well, on their website, they're out of stock right now. But basically what this does is it yeah, so basically look up the ugly fix. If you go on their website, it's a chip that you plug in and it does wonderful things. That's all I'm going to say about it. And if you can't find it on their website, which I just went on their website, I can't find it. Man, maybe go on eBay and see if you can't find a used one. Man, that really sucks that they're out of stock because that is that's like, let's see, the ugly fix chip. Yeah, it's basically a chip that you just plug it in. Okay, so I just found one. Um, I just found one available on eBay. Just go into search eBay and type in um, the ugly fix chip, and there's the first two results is what you want. The first one is probably the best one. Or I don't know the seller, but it seems to be what you're looking for. It even shows you what to do with it and all that good stuff. And yes, it does work. Yeah, wonderful things. We'll just leave it at that. You'll have all the power you want, and you won't have that EGR slowing you down. Would you know what's the best company in Houston, Texas that has the best pay for new drivers, or just the best paying company for new drivers in general? I don't know too much about Houston area. Um, Sometimes you just gotta, get out there and figure it out. Unfortunately, sometimes you just got to get on with the company and start talking to other drivers, other companies, and kind of fumble your way through it. That's what I've done in the past. Might get on with a company that kind of sucks, and then you start talking to other drivers, and they say, "Hey, my company's pretty good." John, is 50K too much to buy my first truck? I'm thinking about putting 20K down. I've been saving every penny I own. Yeah, that's actually good. I think that's a good starting point. That's right where I would suggest someone spend about $50,000, as long as the truck doesn't have over 1,000,000 miles and isn't a piece of crap. So yeah, I would definitely, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Putting 20,000 down, you might not even have to put 20,000 down. You might only have to put 25% down, 10 to 25%. So that's either 5,000 or let's see so 50,000. Just doing on the calculator, so I don't give you wrong numbers here. Or 12,500. So then, if you can put down $12,500, then you can use the other 7,000 or $8,000 for emergency fund. And yeah, the first thing I would say, if you've watched some of my videos, you know this, but you want to have about $10,000 to $15,000 sitting in a bank account for an emergency fund. Michael White 10-4. Awesome. Yeah, so let's see. What year is your 14 liter? Or sorry, you said 10K. My bad. Ronnie, no problem. Happy to help. All right, John, sounds good. Like I said, I'll be looking for that in the next couple of days. I'm not working tonight, but I will be tomorrow night probably. So I might get a little busy, but I'll look into that. So the comments, seeing if I forgot anybody here. Awesome, we got a few people in here, so that's good. Thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Hey, the Asian My Show. Hey, how's it going, man? I appreciate the support. I think I know your channel. I've watched a couple of your videos. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me any of those, and like I said, I'll be in here for, I'd say, another 20 to 25 minutes. Kind of had some time tonight because I don't want to go out here in this -5-degree weather and go to work tonight. So I figured I'd stay in and I guess do a live stream with you guys. So thanks for the thumbs up. Mine what 06. All right. So did you use this the ugly fix to do wonderful things with your Detroit 60? Because that's the best way to deal with that, I think. Slobodan, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. I try to. I try to share good info. Sometimes I ramble on a little bit too much, but it's all got a purpose to it. There's always a point I'm trying to get around to, but it may take me a while to get all the way around to it. That's just how my brain works. Okay, so the seller did. That's good. Hey, if the seller did, then that's fantastic as well. Thanks, John. Appreciate that. Appreciate the support, guys. I'm trying to grow the channel. I really am. I literally don't have all the fancy equipment. I just got a couple of GoPros, and every time I think of a informative topic, I just make a video about it. I started the YouTube thing just to try to help guys. Like, I thought about when I was starting out, and I got a lot of questions about, how did you get into being an owner operator? How do you make money in trucking? Like, what do you do for a living? You seem to be doing really well for yourself. So that's why I started the channel, to just help other guys and gals out there to kind of do what I did. And not only do what I did, but, try to find their own path in it as well, because I've mentored a couple of people that have taken their own path and became successful. I've done the tanker thing, as you see, and that's been my success. But I've had guys that have gone into flatbed, and they found success into that. And then I know other guys who've gone into hauling, like they've done the construction side, and they've been very successful in that, doing side dump stuff and belly dump and whatnot. Let's see here. Let's see. I pinned you, the Asian Maya show. Appreciate the support, man. I really do. Okay, so let me get back to this. Have you had to do rebuild on the 14 liter? I personally have not had to do rebuild because I've been very lucky that I've just been lucky enough that mine have been solid. But I just know I'm not worried about it because I know the exact price I'm going to pay, and my mechanic has done it before. So if I have to do a rebuild, I know exactly what it's going to cost me, and I know exactly what I'm looking at when it comes to that. So I haven't done one, but I literally am not worried about it. But here I'm looking at about $15,000, anywhere from 15 to 20. Oh, I want to be scared about it. I definitely be scared. Now, if you had like if you had a Cummins or Caterpillar, you'd at least be scared of the price. With the Detroit, with the 14 liter, Um, you could probably get it rebuilt for 15,000 or so, 15 to 20,000 if you with the right shop out there. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. But yeah, with you, I think you you bought one that had a lot higher mileage. Yeah, I would definitely start saving your money. I'd save at least 10 or 15 grand just when that day comes. But the good thing is, yeah, exactly. Considering it's just 1.2. 1.3 is usually the cutoff where I know them to be good to. Um, I know a lot of guys that have the exact same setup I did. Mine's got almost 900,000 on it, and it's fine. It's starting to leak oil out of every orifice, and it never did that before. So I'll probably I'm gonna do a rebuild on the channel. Yeah, I understand what you're saying there. They sold it to you just in time. Let's hope not. Let's hope you get another 100,000 miles out of it. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing a rebuild on mine on the channel. But given that it isn't my primary truck, and I don't have all this YouTube money that a bunch of other I do still drive my own truck, so I don't have just 10 or 12 grand sitting around to do that. But I do want to get around to doing a rebuild of my Detroit on the channel and showing you guys the process and how cheap it really can be, especially if you have a mechanic that's willing to let you put some sweat equity in. I'm pretty like my mechanic. A lot of times when I have a problem, he knows I'm mechanically inclined and that I'm not a certified mechanic, but I used to be a mechanic. Um, he knows that I know how to work my own stuff, so he'll tell me how to do it and the tools to do it and the knowledge, and he'll tell me go do it. And if I try to push it back at him, he's like, "No, no, man, you got it." So I think with rebuilding my engine, that he'll let me do a lot of the work, and therefore he wants to charge me as much labor. So I'm hoping, this is very, very optimistic, that with some of my time involved, tearing my own truck down and my motor down, that I could get mine done for about 10,000. I'm hoping. Now, I've heard guys in the comments tell me that they can get theirs rebuilt. They got their Detroit 60 rebuilt for $3,500. That's cheap, and that's very cheap. I mean, that's almost scary cheap. I would be kind of scared if someone quoted me that little bit of money. But I guess if you didn't do the head, and if you just did the internals and you didn't do the injectors, and there's also multiple levels to this, Victor, yeah. So save about $15,000. Ask around the guys that you're running with, or guys just around. Say, hey, where's a good mechanic that's cheap and affordable? Do not take it to a dealership and tell them you want a new motor, because then you'll be spending like $35,000. At that point, you might as well buy another truck, a new truck, I guess, or another truck. Slobodan, would be nice to see you rebuild on YouTube. Yeah, man, that's the plan. I just don't have the $10,000 or $15,000 sitting around to do it just to do it. And being that it's -5 outside, I'm kind of gonna wait till March. So I'm gonna have a lot of So my '08 Detroit 60, you guys have seen it on the channel. I'm gonna be rebuilding that truck, not to like a showroom quality, but I'm just gonna be going through a lot of it and fixing a lot of what's broken. It's pretty good. There's nothing major, but I'm going to try to build up to be a pretty stout, decent truck, and kind of show that on the YouTube channel, what that entails. Especially, I want to show that it's not that difficult and it's not that expensive. But yeah, so when I do the rebuild, another thing why I'm not doing the rebuild right away is because, when I do the rebuild, I want to have a little bit of fun. So I want to get a old school turbo, a non-centrifugal turbo. So I want to get a Garrett turbo or a Ford Warner. that is non-centrifugal, so she can have all the boost. And I want to crank it up to like 650 horsepower, maybe even 700, and go troll some super trucker trucks out there with the Freightliner. I think that'd be fun to do, and that's why I'm holding back, because I know, like anybody else, when you get into a project, you think it's going to cost you 10,000 and it ends up being double that. So, that's why I've kind of not done it yet, because I need to make sure that I got the finances to cover that. So, but yeah, it is coming soon ish. Let's try. I mean, if we grow this YouTube, if I can grow the YouTube channel, and then if I can grow it and make a little bit of money off it, maybe I can do it sooner. That's kind of the whole goal of this, is growing the channel and then doing these builds to show you guys how much it is and whatnot. But given the fact that I don't have to do one yet, I'm kind of waiting. King Crew. What's up, man? I have questions. I'm turning 21 this upcoming March and plan on getting my CDL. As soon as I do, my question is, do you think I'll find a company who is willing to take me in for company sponsored training? Because I heard that most companies' insurance requires one to be at least 23. Yeah, so that's an interesting question. Your age may affect you a little bit on that. I'm starting to see 23 and 25, but don't get discouraged. Talk to these companies. Talk to companies. Start talking to companies right now. Call them up and ask them. Say, hey, would you be able to take me in and give me my CDL in exchange for working for you for a year? I don't think you have to be 21. I'm sorry. I don't think you have to be 23 or 25 for everybody. That's just, it's all about the money. So certain trucking companies, their insurances will charge you more money when you have they'll charge them more money if you're younger, less experienced, have tickets or whatnot. So there's some companies that are still willing to pay that higher price to get drivers, where other companies have said, hey, we want the cheapest rates possible, so we're going to be really strict. So yeah, check out those companies. Sorry guys, I'm a little wired up. I just drank a bunch of coffee. So hopefully that answered your question. Yeah, just keep trying. That's a good. I like that you're taking advantage of that. Just like house hacking, do the truck hacking. That's the same thing. Have a company pay for your CDL, and in exchange, they're going to put you under a contract to say you have to work here for a year or two, or you're going to have to pay us back. So yeah, that's a good thing. Just ask around. There's such a demand for drivers right now, especially if you're willing to go over the road or be versatile, that I'm pretty sure they can work out the insurance thing. Or there's also another way you can reverse this. So you're looking at the trucking company to get you your CDL, which is fantastic. That's number one. I would do that. I would look for the trucking company to get you linked up with your CDL. But sometimes there are schools out there that can link you up with a trucking company. So this can work in reverse, whichever way, but you're on the right track. I would suggest doing what you're trying to do already. Look for the company that's going to hire you and get you your CDL, because that's the better way to do it. But there are some trucking schools out there that have very close relationships with the trucking companies that can almost guarantee you a job. So you can go either way with that. But yeah, just keep on trying. Insurance is becoming a pain out there for sure. I think it's all of our least favorite thing about this industry is becoming insurance. It used to be a bunch of other things, but now insurance is sure becoming a pain. That's the problem. Yeah, hopefully that helps. Like I said, guys, there's long-winded answers, but I promise you, everything I'm telling you is it means something. It's for a good reason. Feel free to ask me any other questions, guys. Sorry, just replying to some things here. King Crew. Yeah, I'm still looking, want to make sure I pick a good company. Thanks for the advice. Yeah, no problem, man. I'm happy to help. Yeah, I just keep looking. Yeah, persistency pays off too. Um, any other questions, guys? Been here for a few more minutes. Ricky, have my class A, but went to buses due to the amount of pay I was offered for the last 6 years. No experience trucking. Is it possible to start as an owner operator? Just curious. Um, yeah, I mean, it is possible. No experience trucking. Is it possible to start as owner operator? It is. Um, so you have a class A, so you just need to get some experience. I would, yeah. So I would suggest getting some class A experience working for a company first, maybe for 6 months or so, just so you kind of know what you're doing. I mean, obviously, if you've been driving a bus for 6 years, you're experienced enough, but there's things about a class A that are a lot different than class B, trailers and all that good stuff. I would definitely get some experience as a driver with class A and then go from there. And yeah, it's possible to start as an owner operator with no experience. You just got to find the right company that'll take you on. Michael, appreciate the input. Thanks, man. Happy to help. And all right, I'll catch you, Michael, on the next one. Hopefully, I can give you a time. Hopefully, I can give you guys a good timeline next time when I'm going to jump on here. But sometimes I like jumping on sporadically. Sometimes I like putting a post up saying I'm going to be going live. But I just hate in that predicament I get in when I put a post up saying I'm going to go live and then something comes up, which hasn't happened yet, but I don't want that to happen. So a lot of times I just Victor, no problem. Happy to help. Yeah, make sure you get ready for that rebuild, man. But then you got a fresh motor, man. That's gonna be great. And once you think that thing rebuilt, you're gonna be super, super excited with it. And that's why I like the Detroit 60 series, because for 15 to 20, you can really, you can really get a rebuild done for 10 to 20,000 cheaper than the other motors out there, and it'll probably last longer anyways as well if you had done right. All right, King Crew. Rhett is telling you to look into Prime. He says he's going there in 2 weeks. Seems like the best company out there for training and early earning potentials. Yeah, check them out. The bigger insurance, the bigger trucking companies have better leeway with their insurance companies, and sometimes they're personally insured, so they can do whatever they want if they're personally insured. John, you're welcome, man. Happy to help. Ricky Harrison, been offered OTR through CR England and TMC Transport. They hire no experience. Not sure who to go with. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. You might have to just bite the bullet and go to one, and then if it doesn't turn out, go to the other one and try both of them out and see which one you like better. See, Slobodan knows where it's at. Says that Detroit's is his favorite engine and the Freightliner is his favorite truck. I agree. No, that's how I feel too. So I'm happy somebody knows what's going on. Honestly, I wouldn't mind getting like I would love to find like a W9 Kenworth with a Detroit 60 in it. They're very rare, but it's possible. But I want a 14 liter. I don't want the 12.7. Not that I wouldn't want the 12.7, but I really want the 14 liter. Which I found gliders that are. I found some gliders that have that set up with the 12.7, but I want the 14 liter, and I don't want to spend $160,000 though either. So I wish I could find an older like '07 W900 with a Detroit in it. That would be a good. That'd be a good setup. Because the only problem with the Freightliner is it shakes and rattles, but that's just the money rattling and around in your pocket that you're not spending. That's why I always say, uh, yeah, exactly. Slow it on. That's the only for me. That's why I haven't bought anything different. Because every time I think about it, I'm like, well, damn, look how much money my trucks have made me. Yeah, sure, they're not the most quietest inside. They rattle and crack and shake and creak or whatever, but I just can't justify it. Like I stick with what I know, and I feel like what I know is a pretty good option. And I rode in a couple of Peterbilts the other day, and they're just as rattly. They're shaking. You know, they're just as rough as any Freightliner I've ever seen out there. So I don't get it. I get I don't know. I don't get it. Yeah, King Crew. Yeah, definitely get all your endorsements so you're not limited. That's a good idea. Um, I've got everything except for doubles and triples, which I've just never had to use them before. But there may come a time. Thank you for the thumbs up, everybody. Anybody have any more questions? Before I head out here, excuse me. I said sneeze. Anybody have any other questions for me before I get out of here? Rhett, you good? You have a good night as well. Be safe out there if you're driving. Yeah, catch you next time, man. You have a good one. Stay safe if you guys are driving out there, especially if it's freaking -5 out wherever you're at, or -20 like it is up in everywhere else or up north of me. Thanks, King. I'll definitely try to post up when I'm coming here next time. I'll catch you next time too, John. All right, guys. Well, give it a couple more, about 30 seconds here, and I'm going to get out of here unless I get some questions in the next minute or so. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Love the interaction and the discussion. I'm always happy to help. I love getting questions that I can answer and, have a good discussion about and really help you guys and try to figure out, what's what and what's the best steps, in my opinion. Let's see here. And like I said, everybody, I'll try to do a post a couple days earlier to give you guys a heads up of the live stream. And but for now, I'm gonna call it a night. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate all the likes. check out the channel, check out the videos, and I will see you on the next one.